Evening, Mayor, members of the council. I haven't done this in person for a while, so I'm not sure I remember how, but we'll go for it anyway. Starting off with a COVID update, City Manager will get into this in a little bit more detail after this report, but we do have currently 195 cases within Brookings County. Those numbers were current as of 11:45 a.m. this morning. 159 of those 195 were listed as recovered. There's been a total of just over 3,200 tests done so far. We find ourselves in the moderate community spread according to the South Dakota Department of Health website at this time. We have ordered 5,000 of those Brookings Strong Together masks. We've received about 1,000 of them so far. 250 of those were handed out at Feeding Brookings. We did distribute some to the Brookings Municipal Liquor Store as well as the library, as well as a few other organizations throughout the community to distribute. As we receive more of those, we will continue to distribute them and hand those out. The recently presented reopening roadmap and the faces are on the updated coronavirus info webpage on the city's website, and also encourage everyone to tune into the South Dakota Department of Health for the latest updates and information. The 20th Street Interchange project is rolling along. It is currently on schedule. The 30% cost estimate will be presented to City Council. It is anticipated for early September. The preferred interchange layout is anticipated to go live on the project website at the end of this week. Staff and the consultants are currently working on the environmental assessment as well as the preliminary design. In the snippet in the picture that you see of the project website, I encourage all to check out the resources and comments section, as those are very helpful and comprehensive. The Bob Sheldon field renovation is also on schedule and on budget at this point. The contractor is working on placing the topsoil, installing fence posts, working on dugouts, and then getting that infield aggregate material into the infield for the turf installation. They are anticipating that turf and sod will be installed in early to mid-September. You will see the project completion date is listed there for 2021. It is anticipated the only component to be remaining in 21 will be the parking lot, but there may be some finishing touches as well as punch list items to complete at that time. The 6th Street project between Main and Moriarty, this is a State Department of Transportation project. As of now, the paving is complete. Crews are now working on some of those finalizing items that you see before you. I did learn today from our city engineer that they are anticipating to open the road by the end of this week, so we're very hopeful for that. The original completion date was for September 2020, so there is some time remaining on the project, but as of now, it does look like that road is going to be open ahead of schedule. Moriarty Park drainage project, most of the work there is complete as well. The ramps are complete, the sidewalk is complete. The next steps that you'll see are the grading and seeding of the actual pond bed itself. That is slated for September of 2020 to align with that fall growing season, and it is anticipated that that project will be completed in September as well. 20th Street South, crews are currently working on placing topsoil in the boulevards along the completed sidewalk. The next steps are installing the curb and gutter on the west end of the project, as well as completing the paving. Contract stipulates that the completion date of that project is October 2020. The contractors are ahead of schedule, but again, due to competing demands and other projects going on in the community, there is some timing questions there yet, but again, hoping to have that project completed as soon as possible. Our overlay project for this year is currently underway. You may have noticed some crews around the community starting to do the millings and removing that top layer of asphalt. The picture before you tonight does show the areas that will be milled and overlaid for this season. I do want to put one comment on there that you'll notice Faculty Drive, the entire horseshoe is highlighted in red. This is actually going to be a two-phase project. The eastern half will be milled and overlaid this season in 2020. The remainder of the project will be in 2021 to tie in with some stormwater improvements in that area. Concrete maintenance project is underway. There's been some new sidewalk installed at a couple of locations throughout the community. The next step in that will be the 8th Street South ramp starting in early September, and the completion date on this project is October 2020 as well. As council may notice, it is probably the height of the construction season right now. The Swiftell Center hosted 3 cattle shows within the month of July. All of those were conducted within the city-approved Swiftell Center Health Safety Program. Some statistics that were provided from that were there were about 15,000 spectators, 12,500 meals served, and over 15 head of cattle that had come through Brookings in the month of July. Budget and finance, again, we are in the midst of that. One of the great additions that Chelsea has made is a new budget and finance webpage where you can find things like the annual budget broken down into the most important parts, our fee schedule, budget and brief, and some of the presentations that have been provided to council throughout this process. As about the process itself, we did have our first reading this evening. The second reading and CIP adoption is scheduled for September 8th, and we do have that September 22nd contingency date available if there were to be any changes to the budget at the next meeting. Solid waste update. We did see an uptick in the homes that are recycling in Brookings from 2019 to 2020. We're now up to 87% of homes recycling. For the raw numbers, that's about 4,709 of 5,400 customers that are recycling. Our tonnage for this year for recycling is also up. In comparison to July of 2019, we're up about 9 tons, 525 tons in comparison to 516. We have seen a reduction through our Millennium Recycling, where we take our recycling. We've heard good news that they're seeing less plastic bags in the recycling that are coming not only from Brookings, but their other customers. So I would like to believe that some of our education efforts of the community have been fruitful in that regard. Over 3,100 yard waste carts have been delivered. I was informed by our solid waste director, Todd Langland, that there was another 20 actually taken out last week. So those continue to be popular and being distributed to members of our community. The Citizens Campus is complete. This will be an area for residents to drop off yard waste and pick up compost for free. We will have a ribbon cutting out there tomorrow, August 26th at 9 a.m. The cell construction is anticipated to wrap up yet this week, and then final paperwork will be submitted to the DENR for approval. That approval process is anticipated to take about 2 weeks, and we will be able to start placing refuse into that new cell at that time. Had to do a little bit different take on our summer recreation for this year due to COVID. Dusty and the park staff did a great job of altering and adapting some of our programs. Some that we offered this year were our free range kids yoga, and hydrant parties. Free range kids really encourage the kids to get out and play and encourage creativity from the participants. There were multiple stations set up with a variety of yard games, long sprinklers, etc. Hydrant parties were helped with the process of the fire department. They were similar but focused on water activities to include squirt guns, water balloons, and of course the fire trucks. Fire training site, this is one that's a bit of an internal one, but this is very exciting for the folks there in the fire department and our volunteers as well as our full-time staff. There's a variety of uses that this indoor facility will offer for search and rescue operations, confined spaces, and things of that nature. This is a very innovative project that was brought forward by Chief Hartman. This is actually the old shed down at the South Training Site, and he had re-envisioned what was essentially a garage to make this great facility to provide that wonderful training for our volunteers. And he did it very budget consciously. He made it a 3-year project to do as much labor in-house as he could. This most recently, they did do the restrooms and floorings. As you can see, the floors look fantastic, and that project will finish up in next year and be fully operational. The last item for tonight may not typically be too interesting, but this one's special for us. We did take 2 new patrol squads in. This is an annual replacement, but what's special about these squads are they're the first hybrid squads to our fleet. So this was a conscientious effort by Chief Erickson and the police department to experiment with these SUV hybrids that are anticipated to get better gas mileage and also save on maintenance costs in the long run. We did experience a delay due to the Ford factory closing down for a while due to COVID, but we did receive those and have them now. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.